Hello all. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ria and I took my physics AS level last year, scored a 95. And today I'm here to break it down for you piece by piece so that you too can do the same. I also got an A star in my A-level physics exam. If you're a student taking your A2 exam soon, this video is still going to be extremely relevant for you. As far as studying physics goes, it does not see if it's AS level or A2. The way you should be approaching this subject is going to stay the same. So yeah, consider this how to get an A star in your A-level physics exam as well. Let's jump right in, but before that, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. I can guarantee you will benefit from this channel. And yeah, let's work together. So I have made a short video on this before, and even though it has a few tips here and there, this video is what you're going to need to exactly follow the steps to reach your goal of getting an A. Now this video can be broken down into 3 parts. First one is the things you need to be doing if you have more than 2 months left for your exam. Second part is what to do when you have less than 2 months. And the third one is if you're watching this the night before your exam or 2 days before your exam, those are my final tips for you to nail that exam. So please go ahead and skip to whatever is relevant to you, because I don't want you to be wasting time when you need to be studying. So let's get to the first part. If I have more than 2 months left, here are the things I should be doing. Firstly, plan your test cycles. Now obviously physics is not the only subject you'll be studying, right? Luckily for you, A levels can be planned out according to your convenience. So I could take my chemistry AS level in the Feb-March cycle. I could take my physics AS level in the October-November cycle. Basically, spreading your exams out can be a good tactic if you're someone who gets really pressured by a lot of work. Also, I do think that the October-November exam, that cycle, can be easier for you to score in. Now this is not backed by actual evidence, just personal anecdotes. What I think could be an explanation is that fewer students take the October-November test cycle compared to Feb-March or even May-June, because the entire world plans on a May-June test cycle, whereas Indians and South Asians do a Feb-March cycle. So yeah, if you have an option for an October-November test cycle, I think you can consider it, because that can in fact boost your result. Second, and the most important thing you have to be doing is make your own notes. I know it is tedious, I know you're being lazy and procrastinating, but honestly, there is nothing as good as your own notes. To sum it up for you, what you should be doing is going through your textbook or whatever material you have, read the whole thing, and as you find definitions, formulas, concepts, derivations, note them down, but it's very important to have your own note. What really happens when you're reading, processing, and writing it down is you're solidifying the concepts in your brain. Once you make your notes, the more you read them, the faster you'll be getting. So the first time you read it, it'll maybe take you 20 minutes to read them. The next time it'll take you 15, the next time 10. And by the time you get to your exam, just reading keywords will get you to remember what it exactly means. Because physics really cannot be learned. It has to be understood. And unless you're putting in effort to understand it, which you will be doing if you make your notes, it's going to be a tough ride. So I took the Cambridge E-levels and they put out syllabus copies on the internet, and those have it's a very detailed sheet chapter wise of everything you need to know. Please have it printed out and accessible to you as you start studying. As soon as you start studying, do tick off whatever you've learned and start eliminating topics that you're comfortable with. The next part of the video is how to study if you have about 1 or 2 months before your exam. And I think this is the most useful bit. What you need to be doing is jog the memory. Now, I said this in my short video before, and I'm gonna say it again. This is how you practice physics. So what I mean by that is, please find a friend or anyone, maybe even a parent, who can ask you questions at random times. And why the random is important is because if you're sitting in a mode ready to answer questions, you're already thinking about the concepts you're going to be talking about. But if it's at a random time, you're going to say what you really have understood about that point. And that is what we really want to work on, is developing an understanding and not just learning. So if you're just chilling with a friend, ask them what a stationary wave is and see how much they've understood, and ask them to do the same to you. So also the social aspect of this, like feeling embarrassed if you don't know the answer, is going to push you to learn more. So benefit from this while you can. Also, ask yourself questions. Can I define a progressive wave? Do I know what terminal PD is? Even with derivations, The slightly longer derivations, try to just like randomly pull out a paper and try to do the entire derivation out of the blue and see how much you can recall by yourself. The next thing you should be doing is only study from your notes. Now I know this kind of sounds like you're putting everything into a box, but that is how you can keep yourself from freaking out. If I have, say, 30 pages of notes, I want to be able to tell myself that once I read this, I am done. This is all I need to know. And if you struggle with making notes that are comprehensive yet cover everything, do email me at riyashaharkar09@gmail.com or leave a comment below if you'd like to get a copy of my notes and how I summarized everything in about, I'd say, 20 pages. Please familiarize yourself with the formulas that are already there in the question paper. If you see the first few pages of every question paper, ones that are there, you don't need to memorize those because you can always flip through those. The most important thing you need to do is solve past papers. But I'm not just saying pull out a paper and try solving it. I want you to solve past paper questions. That is the most important bit. So you read your electricity notes. The next thing you're going to do is pull out electricity topical questions. And some websites that have good resources for that is ExamMate, Save My Exams, to name a few. And you're going to pull up past paper questions and try solving them right after you've read it. Once you're done with this sort of arrangement for all of the syllabus, at the end you're going to start pulling out actual whole papers and solving them to see how you're managing your time, how you're scoring overall, and then you can identify what your strengths and weaknesses are. You have to work on your weaknesses obviously, but you need to know what your strengths are because those will get you your marks in the actual exam. Now segueing into the final part of this video, which is what do you do during your exam to ensure you're going to be calm and you're going to nail that paper? You know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are. You have to play with your strengths. Start with the questions that you know you're going to be able to do. I had full confidence with waves, electricity, so I always scrolled back to that question, solve that first. You have two benefits here. Firstly, you're not going to be wasting time on questions you don't know how to solve. Secondly, you're going to gain confidence. I'm already done with 2 questions. What more can be there? That attitude will really help you in the exam. You need to work on your weaknesses before the exam, not during. Understand that. If you cannot solve a question, please move on to the next. Do not sit there and waste time because it's a short paper. So if you skip questions, it's okay. What I've noticed is the ones that require really critical thinking, analysis are worth not that many marks. Like at most 2 marks, 3 marks. And you know how the grade thresholds work. Losing 1 or 2 marks really won't hamper you as long as overall you're performing well. So don't panic during the exam if you cannot solve a few questions. My final tip for your examination, which I'm sure you've heard a lot of times, is leave yourself time to recheck your paper. And I know it doesn't sound important, but it is extremely important because you could be making the silliest mathematical errors and getting the wrong answers, and you wouldn't even know unless you go back and read it. So I'd say go step by step, each question, try to understand what you have done, what they are expecting, and just stay calm during your examination. That's the best thing you could be doing. Also, please keep in mind your calculator settings. So you do have a calculator, but you don't want that to mess you up. So if they're talking about angles, radians, please make sure your units are correct. So yeah, those were my tips. If you do want my notes, please email or comment down below. Another thing, this is a part of a series. I'll break down my strategies subject-wise on how to perform in A-levels. So if you want to stay notified, hit that subscribe button and the notification thingy too. Lastly, I just wanted to mention it here. I have another channel called Audere Prep where I have uploaded a few past paper solving videos. If you have any physics doubts or just topics that you want me to explain, you could leave comments on that account, and I do want to get back to teaching. So yeah, that's something I can look forward to as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.